part of the Winter Series has been that testing opportunity. We know that that is something that is a tremendous value to all of our teams, but I think I can speak for all of us and say that we're pretty torn about it, right? We're pretty torn about all of this, but it really was interesting to kind of get that forced test. You know what I mean? To see how it would go without testing. Most of our teams are used to coming in on Monday or setting up, honestly, on Sunday, a week before the race, and spending Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, making runs, kind of shaking, out the cobwebs or sorting out a new car. This time, however, the first time any of these cars hit the track was for the first round of qualifying on Thursday, and boy, did it throw a wrench in gears. I mean, what was your kind of initial reaction to it, Mike? I know that we were kind of as sad as we were also kind of excited to see how it played out.
Yeah, we were actually talking about this. I was talking about it with Brian on the Flow broadcast. He asked me pretty much the same question, and I am, all for it. We talked about how back in the day there was no testing. You might test one time in the off season, and then you go race. You definitely weren't allowed to test at the same track you're going to be racing at. But I don't think that would have changed much of anything. I don't think we would have saw Mark Mickey go any quicker. I don't think the guys that ran up front would have run any better. I think it's the guys that were on the back half, like probably the back half of our 32 car field, and even maybe 32 to 48. It would have shuffled that around, and I think we'd have just been closer to our 500 spread of 1 to 32 that we've had for basically 2 years in a row now at all of our events. The spread was actually 900s for this event. So it just created a wider gap of 1 to 32 instead of just allowing these guys to chip away at it so much to where by the time they come up for that final qualifier that everything is so compact. But we also only got 3 qualifiers. So the original game plan is 3 days of testing and 5 qualifiers. And I just think the field could have looked dramatically different, especially in the back half of the field. But and perhaps the 3 qualifiers is maybe even the bigger story than the lack of testing.
I would say you're right. I mean, it did. It had a significant impact on it. I was surprised. The thing I was most proud about is how all of our racers and teams leaned into it. I didn't have any single team come up to me bemoaning losing testing. You know what I mean? I had guys coming up to me and being like, "Oh, this is gonna be interesting."
You had guys like saying, "Man, I sure would have liked to had testing. I could have used a couple more hits," but there was nobody that was like, upside down about it or saying that we should alter the schedule to allow testing. And some guys did get Monday testing, and I think that maybe we'll see guys busting down the doors at World Series, because a lot of times you'll see guys, I'm going to roll in Tuesday and I'm going to test Tuesday, or I'm just going to test Wednesday. But the only guys that got to test were the ones that were beating down the gates Sunday night to get in and be there Monday. So I think that's going to accelerate everybody's schedule for World Series if the forecast doesn't look absolutely perfect.